Hey, what's up, guys? We're back in the shop, working on the Midget, trying to finalize a couple of things. Don't really have much to update you on, other than just a couple of small things that we've added to the Midget. Now, there will be another revision for the Midget, but for now, I'm trying to complete these cars so I can send them on the way and continue feedback. I know that I really need to get them out there in the field to get them driven. Make one for myself. I'm also going to make myself a late model. Speaking of the late model, I know my buddy Eric, we spoke about, built himself, well, I built him a late model and currently is racing and is active with it. It seems like he is driving it. It seems like he's working fairly decent. I know we have an issue with ride height, but I think I sent him the wrong shocks with the car. So I do have another set of shocks, Fox shocks, that I want to send him with them, so we can get that ride height set up properly. They are associated base shocks, so I got them confused with another vehicle, so they're too long. So I'm pretty sure we can mitigate it with some travel limiters, but at the same time they create other issues. I don't want them to be bottoming out and stuff on the shock cap. So I know he went out racing this weekend. We were trying a camber link setup on that car. I'll put a picture in here as we talk about it, and it broke. So obviously we're gonna have to go back to the drawing board on that. Maybe use a thicker material, or ultimately just fade away from that. I'm not sure if on that chassis, if I put the optional deal where he can use stock camber link setup with the little truss and stuff. If it didn't, we'll get that revised. So that's one of the reasons why I want to go ahead and push this car out, at least these midgets, and then get them out there in the field testing and racing, ultimately want some feedback. So the Midget, yeah, so we will revise that when we get to other cars. When I get to that point, we'll put that on there. But I just wanted to show a couple of things that came across my mind. Kind of wanted some feedback. Obviously, anything positive, let's not be too harsh. We all have our thoughts and stuff on it, but just add something to the car to help protect the car a little bit more and stuff like that. So, and also I just kind of want to show you the process of what we're going through. We're learning ourselves new things here, implementing new stuff to our designs and moving forward. So let's try and check it out. All right, so we mentioned 3D printing. We actually implemented something on this car itself right now. It actually has a 3D printed spacer right here to help kick the shock tower out. Instead of using a whole bunch of little washers and spacers, we actually created this spacer on using the same program that we create the chassis. Ultimately, you create a vector file and then ultimately create an STL file. So let me grab that piece and show you. All right, so I'm using the back side of this trophy so I can reference point. So if you look at this shock tower, you can see the holes with this one and this one. And there's two sets of holes. That's what it's mounted onto these kick-ups. Well, basically we use the same drawing out of the program. There's the two holes, and then we make this spacer. As you can see, this one's a certain thickness. I think this one's made out of 4 millimeters, and this one came out to be 6. Just because we don't know what the spacing we needed out, where the shock tower needed to be. I know traditionally a lot of cars don't use spacers, but for the simple fact that we're implementing two types of cars into this front end, we wanted the geometry to be something correct when it comes to our camber links and all that stuff. So that being said, for our battery, one of the biggest things that I've always seen on cars, especially when you use carbon fiber car chassis, is the chassis get all scratched up right here. So I wanted to add a little thin layer of protection, so whenever you put the battery in, it doesn't scratch up your car. And then when you tighten this down, it still allows the chassis to have the battery to have some room, so the chassis can still to flex Yeah, so still nice and little loose, but now with that movement, you won't be scratching up your chassis. It will still move. If I wanted to, I can create a bottom side shim for this, tighten it up a little bit, but for the simple fact that I want the battery to stay in there secure, and still allow the chassis to do what it's doing now. It's kind of hard to say that because, you know, you have the post here for the cage, which kind of stiffens it up. Not only that, you have two more up here. Now, on here in the front, we're gonna go ahead and make another one, a shim, because to me, the front side of the body is sitting a little bit higher. So when you tighten it down, kind of puts it in the bind. So I want everything to sit nice and flush. So we're gonna ultimately create another shim that goes around this way, just to give us enough gap to fill that in. So when everything's tightened up, nothing's pulling the car or the chassis in some type of way. So these are the little extra things that we're adding. We still have a little bit left to do on fabrication for this car, which is this top chassis brace to the shock tower. We were using one off of a stock Custom Works Outlaw 5 or 4, I can't remember. But because of how we've mounted this transmission, we can't have the capability of moving it further backwards than the OEM car, and we can move it maybe a little bit further than the Custom Works chassis, just to help transfer our weight around in this car. We'll try to utilize every bit of space that we can with this little short car to help us with traction and steering and whatnot. On the 3D side of things, we also created this little, I don't know what you want to call it, like a little side wick. I know that the real Midgets use it, so I created a really small one. I didn't want it to be too obnoxious, but we do have the option of changing it to a little wider one for the side dam. Now, obviously, this is going to go and play with. Obviously, it's going to go and play with the rules of your track. Chili belt, I don't think it's allowed, but at the end of the day, if your track allows it, and it's not any higher, and you're sitting, it's just a little small piece that you can maybe help you create some side force. Ultimately, the side panel of the car is a wing. You try to utilize as much as you can as a wing, so any little bit helps. So that's kind of things that we're creating on the 3D print side. So I do want to show you real quick on how we get to that point. Unfortunately, when it comes to this stuff, it creates a lot of computer time, which ultimately takes up maybe sometimes a quarter up to half of your day, maybe 3/4 of your day, depending on what you're trying to do. This is really basic stuff that I'm doing. It's just all two-dimensional stuff. We haven't got to that 3D part, but I'll show you real quick on the computers how we get to the point where we 3D print. So, all right, so what we're looking at now is the actual those little 3D printed parts that we created for the chassis. Now we get, basically when you create your chassis, it looks just like this. This is the actual chassis of the car. So basically all I do is I'll grab the chassis and all the circles that I need, which are all mounting points, which also obviously, you know, we got to create, and then makes this. See, this is how the car looks like. It's been cut identical. So we're grabbing pretty much all those holes that we need that we're going to utilize, which is in this case, this is all the battery holes right here for the adjustment, which then gave us this other file here. Hold on, give me a second. Which then now we grabbed the holes and then we pretty much just drew what we wanted. As you can see, there's a front piece that we have yet to make 3D print on the front. And then after this program, not only can I create all my tool paths for the CNC router, but also creates the SVG files, which you need to be able to accomplish not only this on the CNC, but also in the laser, and also now with the 3D printer. So we export this as an SVG, and then we'll have to go to another program, which I have on another computer, because sometimes while this one runs, I'll jump onto another computer, and so forth. So let's jump into that. All right, so now I'm trying to do this with one hand. So what you have here now is that vector file imported into this program. Now, this is, like I said, this is very two-dimensional stuff, very basic stuff. So a free program like, I think this is Tinkercad, will allow me just, basically all I need to do is tell it how tall I need. I can go in here. Let's look at it from this point of view. There it is. So when you click on this, it will tell you like, hey, what do you want to do with it? It's gonna make me a liar. It's working here. There it is. So then pretty much you can just go up and down how far or how high you want it. So after that, take it out of this program. This is what actually generates the file that the printer will need. So you'll export it as an STL file, and then we'll put it into another program. Now, you go, I know this is very complicated and stuff. There's a lot of things that we here, not only with what we can do here in the shop for the RC side that we can do, but also with t-shirts, with the laser, Photoshop. We can do a lot of video. I actually can do quite a bit of good, I consider myself decent video. So we have all these computers and programs. So obviously we have multiple computers. So you don't necessarily have to have a bunch of computers, but for the fact that how we use them, every computer has its own little things. Obviously the computer that I got with the CNC, it came with it from Silky. So we're utilizing that computer. So like that's kind of like a standalone thing over here. And then the other two computers, the Surface Pro that I just showed you on, I utilize it mostly for the laser because it has a laser program in there. And then the other program that I put it into to be able to actually generate an actual 3D print is called Bamboo Labs. And I have that on my MacBook because now all the 3D printers are inside, you know, keep them, we got a humidifier and stuff, dehumidifier in there, and so it's kind of crazy, but I will bring out my MacBook now, show you how you get to that point. And the MacBook and Bamboo Labs is actually connected directly to one of the 3D printers, and then all I gotta do is push go, and then we'll go from that. All right, so we'll jump on to the final program, which basically all it really is your slicer. We have 3 of the Bamboo Mini A1 minis, Bamboo Labs A1 minis, with the I forgot what you call that. It's the A1 mini combo, which comes with the ability to put 4 spools of filament in, and then basically you have all your spools loaded up into here. This is hooked up directly to the printer, so all of our colors that we have currently loaded are here. So I think we have a gold and a gray and a black. So obviously we're using the black to fit the chassis a little bit better, but this black is not just a regular PLA, it's a PETG. I know it's a little bit stronger and stuff, but over here you're able to tinker with your speeds to get your best quality, your print qualities and stuff out of it. Basically you slice it. It tells you how everything is good to go. If there's any errors, it shows you, and you go to the print, you send it on its way, and then the printer will do its thing. So I'm very, very new to this process of the 3D printing stuff. Right now we're just getting comfortable with the 2D things, just like pretty much just creating flat surfaces, or two-dimensional surface, I guess you could say, and printing the things that I need. Another thing that I'm going to start printing for myself is, especially with the Traxxas cars, one of the key things to one of those things, you know, people are always looking to secrets for Traxxas cars and how to get them, is overall shock stuff and limiters and stuff like that. So, but we use spacers for everything in these cars, not only for your Traxxas, but for custom works and stuff. So for the sake of making all my spacers match, because there's people who print them out their different colors, I'm going to print mine out black, but different spaces, not only for myself, but for Ben or maybe anybody who needs some. So So like that, I don't have to go online, order the things I need. Yes, PetG is what I'm using. I know there's, people into the 3D printing world can go a whole lot further into this stuff. But PetG is whatever I'm using right now. The way it was explained to me is a little bit stronger. I have printed out a couple other things from Maker World and stuff, just PLA, and it breaks easier. Printing PetG's is a little bit stronger, so it's kind of what we're looking for. We're not doing anything structural just yet. I am going to print a couple of things for myself, just to see how that works, PetG stuff, and that'll be on my cart, because once it breaks, and at least I now know that. All right, we need to change materials, which ultimately will end up me getting a better 3D printer for ABS and carbon fiber, but that's a little bit further down the road. So yeah, it's kind of my process here. Once we get it all down, printer does its own thing, and then we end up with our result. All right, so this is pretty much the same thing you get out of it when we print it. You can see right here, this is where the actual print side is. The print bed it's like a gold, and it has this little rough stuff, which is kind of cool. And that's what we created earlier. This is what we created for the battery. You can see this is the side that it prints. Kind of looks pretty cool, but this side doesn't look bad either. So I'll be printing these for my cars, all the cars that I create. So like that, we have some kind of saver on it, and anything else like shim wise. All right, guys, that's what you have it. No, that's not your typical video, and I don't want to beat this midget build to death, but this is pretty much kind of where we're at. I'm hoping to the point somebody starts a deal where we start adding wings to the midgets, and I already got a top wing mount set up and everything, so that'd be kind of cool. But also enjoying driving the midget, because it really makes you drive, be careful with traffic and stuff, because it is an open wheel, and it's fun. So, but that's it. Just want to take you through the process of what it does for me to create things. Ultimately, it starts off with that first program that we're using, which is on the CNC. It's called Cut 2D. Basically, you're using SVGs, and it's a vector file. Vector files are a series of lines, so then you can tell your program for whatever machine you use what to do with those lines. And it's a very interesting process. I can honestly say that I am self-taught when it comes to not only the CNC stuff, the router, the laser, now coming over to 3D printing, which 3D printing at some point is really going to get me some gray hairs, because I want to start creating some three-dimensional things, like all the air filters, headers and stuff like that. But we'll get there eventually. But for now, this is where we're at. We're going to utilize everything we can to be able to just add to our builds and make it as cost efficient for us, for y'all, for anybody who may be interested for anything that we need. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. It is Super Bowl Sunday. Good luck. By the time you watch this video, somebody is crowned the champion. So best of luck to both of y'all. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, please put down below, comment below. And so far, we have not had this issue, so let's make it something where we all can learn something, right? Let's not negative comments and stuff on there. I'm not perfect. No one is perfect, but this is how we're doing things on my side. I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can of the thought process that we do, and maybe you understand the thought process of what it takes to try to build some of this stuff. So that's it. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.